everyone, nerdygymbros here. Today we're talking about our top 5 favorite video game series. And are you ready, Tata?
Yeah, as ready as I'll ever be.
He's ready. Alright, so our number 5 is... No drum roll?
Oh, okay.
No drum roll, apparently. Number 5 is the BioShock series. I absolutely love this series. From the horror-inducing... And the horror-inducing beginning of the first one to the ending of Infinite when I nearly just died. My heart died that day. And I'm including the DLC for that just so everybody knows. DLC included. But
spoilers ahead, probably.
Yeah. Spoiler alert for all things ahead. So the BioShock series is by far one of my favorite series of all time. Absolutely love the first game. I mean that was like the first horror game I think we ever played.
Yeah, I was like 14 when we played.
No, you had to be younger than that.
13. No, I was in high school. I was 14, 13.
So yeah, I guess not.
I was 14, 13.
I have such a fond memory of the first time that game ever coasted. So I didn't know what the hell we were getting into. I thought it looked cool. It was.
You thought it looked cool. If you watched the trailers, you would have thought it was terrible.
I didn't watch the trailer.
Chest.
No, yeah, it didn't see any of that. I just thought that like the whole casting powers thing was really cool. So let's get it. So the very first memory of this, which just has a smile on my face. So Ty's playing it, and it's when you enter Rapture, and then all of a sudden when the...
Well, let's not mention the fact that once the plane crashed and I was above water, I just sat there because I thought it was a cutscene still because it looked so damn beautiful. I was like, oh, when is he going to start moving? And just floating.
Yeah,
until
at least 3 to 5 minutes went by of just fire and water.
So I finally moved the analog stick and said, like, oh, I'm actually playing right now.
And I think that's what you said too.
It wasn't my fault that it still looked like a cutscene. It was really beautiful. It wasn't.
Every other game up until that point would have been a cutscene that we were playing at that time. So I forgot about that. That was brilliant. And then as you go into the depths of the ocean in your bathysphere, I think it was called
Something like that.
Forgive me. It's been a while. And then I love when you're going into the city. There was so much I wanted to explore. Little did I know the whole city was not up for grabs. But don't even care. Loved it. But anyway, my fondest memory is when you actually get into Rapture. You go through the little tunnel, and all of a sudden you're up there, and you have your little peephole in the bathysphere, and then there's a random guy. Was he even spliced? I don't even remember anymore. But he was screaming for help, and then you have the lights going on and off. On and off.
Oh yeah, the splicer.
And then the splicer kills the person. Maybe that person was a splicer too, I don't remember. I honestly thought it was one of Atlas' guys.
Which meant that he was spliced.
Yeah, I guess in that aspect. And then it jumps on top of the thing.
It starts
higher. Well, not only is it talking smack to you, but then it starts scratching metal on metal. You want to tell what happens next?
And at that point, I hit the dashboard, exited out of the game, took the game out of the distillery, and said, fuck this, I am not playing this anymore.
It was remind you, it was like 11 o'clock or midnight, so that
completely dark.
Yeah, completely dark in the room, no light other than the TV.
And the volume was up and scared the crap out of me, so I shut the damn thing off.
Either way, I always hold a fondness in my heart that moment. It was just brilliant.
Scared the living hell out of me.
Then you have the second game, which I know some people will disagree with me on, and that's fine, you're allowed to. But I loved the second game. Because you have your Big Daddy and your daughter? I was going to call her little sister, but it just felt wrong.
Well, she was
your
little sister.
Yeah.
She was the Big Daddy's little sister guardian thing.
Mm-hmm.
We were...
Eleanor?
Yeah, Eleanor.
Right, and I love the whole... Even though you don't really see Eleanor till like the ending of the game.
Yeah.
I just love the connection there. Obviously, depending on your choices in it, it can swing. But I like happy. So I just there's just something warming about the relationship between, what the hell was our character's name?
Unit Alpha or something like that?
Yeah, but just between Alpha and Eleanor, and then I love that,
I think it was Alpha or something.
what was the woman's name?
Sophia Lynn?
No, not her, the one that was in the first
Oh,
game.
Tenenbaum?
Tenenbaum. Love that she was in the game just because I loved her presence in the first one. Get away from my little ones! I mean,
That was a terrible Tenenbaum impression.
I know, I went to do a German accent and then decided against it and then settled somewhere in between and it just turned out.
Settled for raising your voice and gun noise and...
Yeah. Sometimes it's just what you gotta do. But loved her introduction in the first game, loved that she didn't have a major role in it.
Just at the beginning of
Yeah, and then towards the end.
she wasn't. She was in the DLC.
The first game?
Second game.
Oh,
you're talking about the
I was
first
on the
game,
first
yeah.
game still, talking about how,
Yeah, she had a
talking about her
she had a
role in
bigger
the first game.
presence.
Yeah, and then the second game, her role was in the DLC, which we'll get to. But I really liked the story that it told. It was just, to me, it was just heartwarming. Yeah, you're in there, you're killing,
Just slaughtering everything.
slaughtering everything between you and Eleanor,
Except for the...
as a good father does.
Except for saving people that you end up
Yeah,
saving.
except for saving the
Sure, you
people.
could have done them.
Yeah. I just thought it was overall it was heartwarming, especially, and even though you die, spoiler alert, in the ending, and the reason why there's finger quotations there is just because I really liked how when she injected the needle into.
I think she was taking... Oh, you're talking about literally just putting...
Yeah, when she injected it into it, and all of a sudden the camera pans, and then she's talking about how you'll always be a part of her and everything. It actually got me choked up. It was just an emotional moment, and I love that game. I do. And then you talk about the DLC, and one of my favorite DLCs, top 10 of all time. Top 10 because there's
Top
other
10
ones.
for room there.
Yeah, top 10 that could expand to 15 or 20, give or take. But I can't even remember our character's name right now, and it's upsetting. But anyways, you're going through, and this person who you don't know is sitting there guiding you through the entire thing. And what the mind fuck of it is at the ending, and it was right before the ending where all of a sudden the light bulb went on in my head. I was like, oh, that's us! Because he's sitting there guiding, and I didn't think anything of it, and okay, yeah, we'll meet, and we're going through it and everything. And there was something he said, or we said, technically, something that past us said in this recording that just, all of a sudden I'm like, I think that's us. I think you're past me. And it ends up being that you were turned into a Big Daddy, and I can't even remember what the goal of the story is anymore. But I just really at the time I really liked it, and I remember when I beat it, I'm like, that was absolutely brilliant. And I think it was just the storytelling overall that I really enjoyed. But
I actually never got around. I finally got to play BioShock 2, but because we did it when we bought BioShock 2, the DLC was on the CD, because I played it when it was backwards compatible. I didn't have access to the DLC, so I never got to play it. But I did see you go through it. I saw most of what you went through in it.
And I like the new place that we went to there, and I just liked it overall. And like I said, the story, as if you've watched any of our videos, the story is the most important thing to us, and I thought it was very good storytelling. Now we talk about my favorite BioShock game of all time. One of the greatest...
You only have 3 to pick from, so...
That's why it's number 1. But the story that BioShock Infinite tells, wow. Absolutely wow. Has to be... I will legitimately say it's in probably my top 8
of
storytelling of all time.
We're doing the series.
Yeah, right now we're talking about the series, but when we'll get to other games, but we're just talking about this one right now. But absolutely brilliant storytelling. If you have not played BioShock Infinite, play through it, including the DLC, especially the DLC. But be warned, you're going to have your heart broken.
Have your heart broken and your mind fucked.
Yeah. So the premises behind BioShock Infinite is you're Booker DeWitt, and you're going after a woman named Elizabeth.
Bring us the girl and
Wipe away the debt. And honestly, has to be one of the coolest entries to the game. You have these twins called the Test Twins, and you don't know their name at the time. And they're sitting there, but he won't row, and talking about you not rowing the boat. Little do you know that they travel through time, basically, and just appear just about anywhere. And Elizabeth, spoiler alert, is your daughter. And Zachary Comstock, the antagonist, is you in a parallel universe. So,
where the parallel universe started was because of what
Booker DeWitt.
I was going to call him Booker too. Because of what Booker DeWitt did at Wounded Knee, he ended up trying to wash away his sins
through a baptism. That's where the parallel began, because one version of him accepted the baptism, while the other became Zachary Comstock, where Booker DeWitt said no, and
no amount of water was going to wash away what he had done. So
yeah, that's what he said. I think like almost verbatim. But so you're going through the entire game, and you're connecting with Elizabeth, and you're going through, and depending on your choices, it changes how Elizabeth reacts. Because like you look at one of the very first choices of the game when you're at I want to call it a tram station, but you're trying to get onto something, and you can either react and shoot the guy because your Booker senses are going off. Booker senses are a lot like Spidey senses, but your Booker senses are going off, and you shoot the guy, or you can just try to, all right, let's relax, let's just wait, and then you end up getting stabbed in the hand, and you get two different total reactions from Elizabeth. And I love the story. I could play that game to the end of time, and it would make me happy every single time. I mean,
but then there'd be you that didn't play the game to the end of time.
Let's not go. Let's not go to the parallel universe. But so the ending of the game ends up with you accepting that you're both Booker and Zachary and Elizabeth drowned.
That's a short way of. I know that I just said the one thing, but that's a short way of putting the ending of the game without explaining any of the other details of that. But regardless, BioShock Infinite was a wonderful game. DLCs.
The DLCs were brilliant too. I mean, the first one that threw me for a spin. No pun intended.
You got spun over it.
I wasn't expecting that we were another Zachary Comstock. Wasn't.
Wondered why Elizabeth was being so
cold
to you.
Like, why is she so cold? She wasn't like this to me. Because in my head I'm thinking, she met up with another Booker. But obviously after drowning her father, obviously there was some character change there. But I mean, you say that, but then you think about the second DLC when you play as Elizabeth, which I absolutely loved, and she still has that softer side to her. So I mean, I
thought the second Burial at Sea DLC was definitely really cool. Just one, because it was tying into the whole Atlas and BioShock.
Oh, that ending.
That asshole.
It broke my fucking heart. I mean, I was not expecting that at all. I mean, I love the flashbacks, and the part of the game in the second one that absolutely got me was the
second DLC.
The second game. What the hell is it called? When he stuck the thing.
Oh, the lobotomy.
When they do the lobotomy on you, and like the screen's pressuring and everything. God damn it! That gave me chills, and not the good type. I think my reaction was, milk and gold! Don't hurt Elizabeth! And then I looked like the flashbacks to the Booker thing, and that whole. I mean, you can get.
It wasn't really flashbacks.
It wasn't really flashbacks, but.
The one part of her mind that remembered what she was doing, I guess.
Yeah, but it was such a beautiful part, and broke your heart all at the same time. And then the ending of the DLC, and I'm telling you right now, this is a big fucking spoiler. Not that we haven't touched them on them anyways, but Atlas kills you, the main antagonist ass clown from the first game. I thought I hated them already. But I
hated Atlas.
There wasn't really hate.
It was just, I felt like
an idiot for trusting him. And like, you are going to regret it.
My wee little Patrick.
Yeah. Oh, me buying a wee little Patrick.
God damn, I wanted to punch him in the face so bad.
Yeah, once when that happened, the name's Frank Fontaine, kid.
I wanted just to punch him right in the face.
I wanted to take that wrench.
1-2 punch.
And give him a 1-2 punch that he'd never forget.
But yeah, I hated him more after.
Then yeah, especially and then after the DLC, I mean that just hatred. Alright, so the next game is the next series of game is number 4 on our list, which is Assassin's Creed. And there's so many Assassin's Creeds.
We can't go through all
that
those.
would have to be a video in itself. Me talking about Assassin's Creed. Ranking the Assassin's Creed series. Not Assassin's Creed games. We'll have to do a video like that one day. But we're not going to get all into it, but I will tell you that my favorite Assassin's Creed to date is Origins.
I've not played Origins.
Yeah, you haven't played Origins.
I've started Syndicate, I haven't got through it all yet, but I haven't played Origins yet, but my favorite is Black Flag. Always will be. I don't think as great as Origins was to watch you, because I saw you go through it, but I haven't played it yet. I saw you go through all of them actually, except for.
I played every single one except the 2D ones.
Yeah, I've played every single one except Unity, Syndicate, and Origins.
I loved Arno and Elisa's story, but I just wanted a happy ending. One time, Assassin's Creed, give me a fucking happy ending.
You got a happy ending in Ezio's trilogy.
Well, yeah, but then I found out that he dies.
Everybody dies.
I don't want to see it though when I watched it.
I'm sorry for your loss.
That's the point. But I wanted Arno and Elise really to get past this Assassin Templar barrier.
It was a French story. It was going to end in tragedy from the very beginning.
But they were perfect.
You'll get over it.
But that's not even my favorite couple. My favorite couple is Bayek and Isle, but that's besides the point.
But no way to me, is it possible that those two will ever beat Black Flag for me.
Oh, no.
Because
I loved Evie. Like, my favorite part of Syndicate was Evie.
Definitely.
I like Jacob, but...
Jacob's funnier in hell,
yeah.
But I love Evie's character.
Evie characters completely smack Jacob right out of the water.
Yeah. But I've now...
And plus Henry Green. I love the little budding relationship the entire time between Evie and Henry. I mean, it was just brilliant.
Yeah, I thought Bayek and Aya's story looked really good overall.
I loved that story.
Tragic. Their love story.
Oh, it broke...
their entire story technically is
tragic. The entire story is tragic, but...
I like to see the origins of how the Assassins were created. I mean, obviously, Odyssey is coming out within the next few months, so see how that one is. But to me, Black Flag will always be my favorite because I got to be a pirate, and I've longed for years for there to be a pirate game.
Right.
And I loved...
That was an emotional story in itself, though.
Black Flag in general... I could have just roamed around blowing ships up. You had to play a story to upgrade your jackdaw, but I could have roamed around playing as Kenway, just blowing ships up and plundering them. I did it for hours and hours.
I did it for hours on end.
I loved
before I beat the story,
Ade's
after Ade was finally we got a sleeveless assassin.
Ezio could have been sleeveless if he just took off that stupid sleeves of his outfit.
The one that looked like a barbershop thing?
Yeah, it's like just take those off. You'll be sleeveless. You look awesome. Just take those off.
Yeah, I loved Ade's story. I mean,
Ade
fucking machete. I mean,
Ade Walle's DLC was a lot of fun. So Black Flag to me will always be my favorite. First Assassin's Creed, for its time, it was
amazing.
It was amazing, and it always have a special place to me just because it was the first Assassin's Creed. But
I'm still upset that they killed Desmond.
But compared to where it has gone, it's hard.
Yeah.
To look back and go, wow, look how Altair couldn't swim, and look how stiff he is when he's climbing up stuff, and granted, Counterkill was still alive back then, so
yeah, you had that.
I have that, but Ezio's story, everything about that, plus Desmond's part of it was really well done. The only complaint I have about Ezio's story, and will always be the reason why I never play Revelations again, the fucking... first-person build square shit going through. I'm sorry, but that was just
ridiculous.
So tedious.
I will agree with you there.
Everything else about the game I fucking loved, but it's like
Yusef was in the game.
Yusef,
and he was fucking awesome.
Blade, all that. I mean, It was a lot
Such
of
a
fun.
brilliant-
Constantinople was beautiful, and all that. Just
I remember when I was
stupid
trying to get
blocks.
the achievement, trying to go up a certain
You
building,
going up the wrong
and I was
one.
going up the wrong fucking building. Like,
think,
this
like-
is it, and then I end up looking it up on the codex or whatever. I'm like, this is not it. This is not the building I'm looking for.
I think probably everyone screwed that
Yeah.
up.
But Ezio's story was phenomenal. Connor's story was amazing. I completely forgot. The DLC of Connor's story, The Tyranny of Washington, was fucking amazing. Just popped in my head. And I was really hoping Assassin's Creed.
Me do.
Well, not even that. But Zio, his mom, why didn't she survive the Tyranny of Washington? That was the one thing I wanted most. Because it broke my heart that she died in the actual game, and then the DLC, I'm like, oh, this is different. Oh, she can live. Oh, they fucking killed her again. But Connor's story was amazing. I completely forgot that was his catchphrase.
What would you have me do?
Yeah, but I love Connor, and my favorite part with Connor is when he ends up doing the mohawk.
Yeah.
Love that.
I loved the homestead actually a lot.
That was
I
one of
loved
my-
rolling
I
around the homestead.
Yeah, that was brilliant. That to me, I think, it was maybe around the same time Mass Effect came out. Like that whole having a home base thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely love that feeling.
I mean, Monteriggioni. In the
Yeah,
second
that
game,
was, technically that was the first one.
the second game is Monteriggioni. I enjoyed building it up, but wasn't like. It was.
I always loved going back to it.
I loved going back to it, but there was never a lot of life to it. Man, it was the second game of the Assassin's Creed series, and I mean the engine power that we have now with video games is so much different. But seeing it destroyed in Brotherhood, that was always heartbreaking.
Yeah, that surprised me. That broke my heart. And then
all that hard work.
Then I mean, you talk, and then we'll have to do a separate video entirely just talking about the villains of Assassin's Creed. But I mean, Cesare Borgia has to be top 3 villains of all time in the Assassin's Creed series. But that's getting off subject. But then you go into where do we leave off? We talked about Black Plague. We talked about Unity and my heartbreak. Then you had the little arcade version of Liberation with Adeline. Oh, you have to play it. It's different because it's not. Yeah, you have to blend in with different outfits and stuff like that. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. I really wish she would have had her own full-fledged out game because you could have done a lot with New Orleans. But loved Adeline's story. Syndicate. Loved Syndicate. Like I said, Evie was my favorite. I enjoyed the DLCs in that.
Jack the Ripper was
Jack
creepy as
the
hell.
Ripper I loved, but I did not enjoy being Jack the Ripper. It was just freaky as fuck, and
we don't do good with horror stuff.
I don't do good with horror things. I try to stay away from horror things. But
Origins.
that creeped me the hell out. And then you got the Origins, and I'm including the DLC in this. By far, even though I loved, me, of all people, Ty, you know this to be true, pirating is my favorite thing to do. So that will always hold a special place in my heart. And the story was tragic and everything, what you'd expect from Assassin's Creed.
Definitely.
Because they break my heart every time.
Definitely with what Edward Kenway's story was about.
Yeah, about the greed and everything like that, and losing the people closest to him. I mean, that was hard in itself.
Can't believe you didn't think Blackbeard was going to die.
It wasn't that I didn't think he was going to die. I was really hoping they were going to just avoid it altogether, because that sucked.
Yeah,
Once when the scene started happening, like, no, you fucking don't. But they did. But then you go to Origins, which was the latest installment until next month when Odyssey comes out. I think it comes out in October. Origins is by far my favorite because of the story that they tell. From the beginning in Siwa, with you and Kemu, his son, to the ending of the DLC, like I said, including the DLC, when you and I part. I mean, absolutely brilliant fucking storytelling. Loved it.
I haven't played it yet, but it looked really good.
And plus it's in Egypt. One of my top 3 places that I want to see Assassin's Creed take places, and they knocked that one off the list. I'm like, great, you only have a few more left.
Greece.
Then they did Greece. I'm like, oh, perfect, that knocks another one off the list. Now we just got to get Japan, China, and I will be set for life.
Yeah, but I haven't played those ones yet. I've started Syndicate, I haven't got through it. I'm not that far. I mean, I
Yeah, you're like
just
literally
got
at the
to
beginning.
London.
Right.
But I look forward to playing those. I'm still standoffish about, because I haven't played Origins yet, how the combat's going to work, just how I'm still kind of standoffish about Odyssey's combat. Just because I loved counter kills. But
that was your favorite thing. If you just go and get a bunch of people on there.
I would.
Well, I did the same thing. It wasn't just you.
Yeah, but I love just getting a bunch of people, combo, killing someone, and then just comboing everybody. That was fun. But Assassin's Creed definitely was. It's one of the
series is one of the greatest. All right, so our number 3 game, and like I said, we've debated about what should go 1, 2, and 3, and we still disagree
completely
on what should go where. So we're just gonna try to find a happy medium here, and we're gonna go with number 3 being the Witcher series.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I guess. I mean, because to me, the Witcher series, the best one of it is the third one.
But when we're talking about it though, I'm looking at it as a whole, as the lore, the characters, the world, and 3 is difficult for me to say. Yeah. But I mean, the other 2 games that we have, I mean, they're also brilliant and fantastic. But the Witcher series, I mean, obviously,
when you look at lore and everything like that,
is amazing.
If you're looking at depth-wise, what I assume is going to be your number 2, definitely to me should be number 3 if you're looking at the depth of lore. But
I'm also including story.
Well, that's the thing. To me, that's where Witcher 3 ends up with, where I can say 3 with it. Though to me, it should be 2 in comparison to what your number 2 is.
To me, it should be 2. At least 2. Yeah. But
to me, it should be 2, but I know which one you're going to pick. I soon I understand your reasons for it, for why. But because why I can accept Witcher 3 at third, or Witcher in general at
let's
3.
Just forget the 3 and just talk about the Witcher series as a whole.
Yeah, why I can accept it at third place is just because the amount of lore. Granted, third place isn't bad, but I mean, because we had to lower it down to 5 games, or 5 series to pick from. But because of the amount of lore that's in it, that to me raises it to a 2. But because the third one to me is, I mean, the second one had a really good. We never played the first one, but the second one had a good story, and it was probably really good for the time that it came out. But when I got around to playing it, it was,
when I played it, it was before The Witcher 3.
Yeah, and I'd seen you gone through Witcher 3 when I ended up going back to play Witcher 2. So to go from looking at really smooth combat and this really emotional story between Geralt and Ciri and all that kind of stuff, to The Witcher 2, which was difficult for me to get through.
But
just because.
From my perspective, though, because I played the second one without even seeing the third one, and I loved that it was the first time. No, it was the second, third. It doesn't matter. It was one of the few times where I was captivated by the story, like truly drawn into the world. I mean, because you had these ass clowns with the prejudices against elves and dwarves and witchers, and then you had the elves who were you had Yorvith. I loved Yorvith as a character.
I agree. He was really
cool. He was a badass too. I mean, Yorvith, Dandelion, Zoltan. I mean, all of them. I mean, Triss. I mean, fuck, I could only wish I could have red hair like that. But
you and red hair, just
it'll be one of these days. But she's true. Can't even get my words straight. But the story that it told was about revenge. But there was so much underneath there. I mean, revolving Letho. I mean, revolving the Lodge. Revolving fucking Radovid. God, I hate him.
Yeah, so did I.
And then you go into Witcher 3,
which to me is
cream of the crop of gaming.
I will say 3 alone to me just should be, if you're including the DLCs of 3, that should make it a 2 on the list because of how awesome the story of 3 itself was and how awesome the DLCs were. That 3 alone to me could just, you don't even have to include the other 2, just 3 alone is just
But the thing is, to me, the third game, including all its DLC, is my number 1 favorite game of all time.
Yeah.
I mean, it knocks everything out of the way, and it's number 1.
Yeah. But because we're including 2 and 1, well, we never played 1, but so we're really just including 2, and then because I know what your number 2 is going to end up being, or I assume I know what your number 2 is going to end up being.
I think you know what it would be.
But I guess, like I said, I can accept it being in third place, but to me it should be in second place at most.
Well, but I put it at third because I thought you weren't going to agree with it, because I wanted it a 2.
Well, I wanted do that too, but...
Okay, so fuck that shit. Witcher 3 is now a 2. It is not a 3, it is a 2.
You can see that we really planned this.
We didn't really plan this. Yeah, so Witcher 3 is second place then. I mean, the Witcher series is second place, and I think we can both agree on that.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm fine with that.
Because I downgraded it to a 3 because I thought you weren't going to agree.
No, I didn't agree with what I thought your number 2 was going to be.
Oh, well, now you had it. The Witcher 3 has been upgraded to a 2. The second one has been downgraded to a 3. I said it. Alright, so let's get on with it. Obviously, but last ending notes with The Witcher 3. Great, The Witcher series, one of the greatest storytelling of all time.
Yeah, definitely the third one. Definitely, I mean, the DLCs themselves were, I mean, specifically Blood and Wine was basically a standalone game on
It
its
won
own.
Game of the Year.
Yeah, but Blood and Wine was awesome. I loved the ending of Geralt's story.
It was a great send-off.
Yeah, definitely if you don't be a dick and kill Ciri, like if you choose to kill Ciri,
You're either trying to be an asshole or you're just
that plain stupid, honestly. If you end up with Ciri dead, you get the dumbass award of the year.
You get Nerdy Gymbros dumbass award of the year. Congratulations.
But with bond between Geralt and Ciri and the bond with Vesemir prior to his untimely end, the bond that you can have with Yen or Triss, regardless of who you choose.
Well, if you even look past the romance options, you look at the bond that he has with Lambert, the bond he has with Askel.
Saying a bond with Lambert is... Once you get him drunk, you can see it, but...
You even look at him and Letho, you look at him and, depending on your choices, Sheila in the prison.
Sheila,
and you look at Kira, everyone that you interact with, I mean, it's just...
One of my favorite, which is not a main thing, is every time we talk about The Witcher, I end up bringing it up, is the Cat's The Witcher decision.
Yeah.
I love the decision-making choices within the Witcher series, how there's not always good and bad, it's gray area with stuff, but my favorite part of that quest is actually if you kill him and you, I don't know if it requires killing him, but if you kill him, save the girl, and take her to where her home, drop her off, and then you come back and end up getting a drawing from her.
I never got that because I never went back. Because to me, I never thought about it that, if I go back, there'll be more story. To me, it's like, okay, you're safe. I have some monsters to kill.
I loved going back and ending up getting that little picture,
little drawing
of her drawing Geralt with her and holding hands and everything. To me, that was just a little cool.
Adorable.
This little tiny thing that I had Geralt carry with him for the rest of the game. So he's literally, to me, it's like he has this little picture that this girl drew in his pocket the entire rest of the series as he's, saving Ciri and doing all that stuff. So
can you imagine if Ciri found out, Geralt, what is this?
Yeah.
Oh, well, you see.
Lambert, what a prick.
Yeah. But yeah, so
I loved all the choices. Not all the choices, but I love the kind of choices that they gave you. How
the world changes and interacts.
And if you can sometimes go back to certain things, that there's reactions to what you've chosen. Like with the picking whoever becomes the king or queen of Skellige, I don't know if there is a bad ending to that. I just know I was into picking Ceres. But the one lady that ended up getting everyone killed trying to do that, you can literally find her tied to a rock, and that's just you think that just them saying the dialogue would be like, oh, so
not
she's
like
not
actually go
not actually go and put her there, but she literally is tied to a rock. And just that's the kind of level of depth that the Witcher.
CD Projekt Red is the best. I will say it and say they are the best storytelling. They are the best at storytelling.
Definitely.
Yeah. So this brings us to our number 3, which was originally a 2 because I changed it because initially I was placating you because I thought you weren't going to agree. So then I done. Besides the point. So Witcher. So just so we're all clear, Witcher is number 2. This is number 3, which is the Uncharted series.
That's right. You're going to pick.
Yeah, that to me was number 3, but I thought you weren't going to agree, so I changed it.
No, I would have agreed with putting Witcher in 2.
Alright, so now that we have that settled, The Uncharted series is by far one of my favorite series of all time, which is why it's number 3. The storytelling of it, from 1 to 4 to The Lost Legacy with Chloe and Nadine, I mean, that is storytelling at its finest. I absolutely, granted, I will say that I would have liked it a lot more if Nate would have got with Chloe instead, but that's not the story they're telling.
It's not your choice to.
It's not my choice to make. But either way, Uncharted has to go down as one of the greatest storytelling of all time. Like I said, top 3, it gets number 3. But I love Nate's character growth. I love the bonds that he shares between, I mean, the one with Elena, the one with Sully, the one with Chloe, I mean, Flynn, Eddie Raja.
Don't mess with Eddie Raja!
We all saw how that ended. But
we both die here. I just want you to know, I hate your guts.
Yeah, likewise, pal.
I love that line so much. Just because.
And we could legitimately do a video in itself talking about our favorite moments from Uncharted, but we are running out of time on our camera, so we'll wrap this up. So Uncharted is number 3, Witcher is number 2, and now, and I know we didn't talk about Uncharted a lot, but like I said, don't have a lot of time left. So, what do we have? We have BioShock at number 5. We have number 4 is BioShock series, Assassin's Creed series, Uncharted series, Witcher series, and now, drum roll please! That was the saddest drum roll ever.
It's for a very sad man.
I'm ignoring that. So the number 1 series, our favorite series of all time, no arguments, is the Mass Effect series. This includes 1, 2, 3, and Andromeda. I said it. Just because we personally enjoyed it, we're allowed to enjoy it just as you're allowed to enjoy it or not enjoy it. But we loved it, so we're including all 4 of them. So the Mass Effect series is the greatest storytelling of all time. Well, I can't say that because The Witcher is my favorite storytelling of all time.
The Mass Effect series as a whole,
yes,
has to me a lot more, and the lore within the Mass Effect universe, to me at least. Granted, it's subjective to
individuals.
To the individuals and how individuals are affected by
the story and the
stories and the characters and everything. So that's why Witcher and Mass Effect, I mean, that can be debated to the end of time, but we ended up picking it Mass Effect just because of...
It was our first storytelling game, our first RPG.
I assume we probably played RPGs back in like the PS2, but it's the first storytelling RPG kind of game that we were fully invested in.
Yeah, and 100%. Especially where it came into in our life.
Yeah.
It became very important to us. So, I mean, you have the Mass Effect, I mean, let's talk about the trilogy, then we'll go to Andromeda. I mean, the characters. I have never, got that type of emotionally attached to video game characters before Mass Effect. I mean, then came the Witcher series and Uncharted, but the Mass Effect was the first. And
you always remember your first.
Exactly. You always remember the first time you bawled your eyes out about a virtual character that technically isn't real, but you spent so many hours with them that, in an essence, that they become real because the voice actors the voice actors and the writers have made this person real, and animators and everything like that. But Mass Effect series was the first time we were fully 100% invested. It was storytelling. It gets down to storytelling, and the storytelling that Mass Effect does, that BioWare does, is amazing. And I mean, you go to the original trilogy. I mean, look at all the characters that you end up loving. I mean, our favorite characters are always the aliens.
Yeah. Granted, I mean, I love Jack and Miranda, but I mean,
Jack, Miranda. I mean, then you include Andromeda, and you have
Cora.
Cora is my favorite. Liam, I loved. Me and Liam, I loved Liam, but God, he was such a hothead. Not a hothead, he just shut his mouth off sometimes and he would hurt Petra's feelings, and I was like, dude!
Stop bringing you with me with Petra.
If I need to put you in a timeout.
Yeah. But, I mean, To us, the alien characters were
always the most interesting ones, to me anyways.
I mean, you ended up falling head over heels for Liara.
I am 100% a fan of Liara. Liara is my favorite character from the Mass Effect series. The trilogy.
Don't make me try to pick one. I kind of pick one.
But out of all the
hour, just me contemplating
the pros, and there's no cons, but the pros. But Liara, I fell head over heels for Liara. I loved her. The growth of her character was just amazing, and the part that just synced it in for me is in the two or three different ones, parts of it. I mean, you go to the second one, and you didn't get the scene because you didn't romance her, but in the Lair of the Shadow Broker DLC, which is one of my favorite DLCs of all time, you have this moment on Ilium when you're on your way to the Normandy to go to the Shadow Broker's
she was just being rude to me on Ilium. Even when I was Paragon interrupting, she was still walking away. It's just,
she doesn't.
Fine, we'll go get Farron, okay? I'm just trying to talk to a friend here, and you're just walking away.
But I just love, that connection that is still there, and then you, on the Shadow Broker's base, after you defeat the Yogg, and she breaks down, she's crying, and then you can console her. I mean, that's amazing, and then you go into the third game, and I love the blue, in the second game, I love the blue babies comment. Give you a bunch of little blue babies, that was amazing. Then you go into the third game, and the two parts that just, not that it wasn't synced in before, but what synced it in forever was before you go to the final battle, and it's when she brings you into her mind, and you have the whole like galaxy and the stars and everything, and then there's little moments like when you're holding each other's hands and how she just wrote your name in the stars, and I could go on forever, but
yeah, you could.
I fell head over. I mean, it was the first time I was like, oh my god, like these characters. I mean, Morden, Thane, Legion. I mean, there's so many different characters in
all three Trudge for God.
Yeah, I mean, you even go to the side characters like Matriarch Athena, one of my favorite characters of all time, in the top probably 20. But I just loved her character. I mean, Mass Effect is one of the greatest series of all time. And then you even go into Andromeda, and I know this is debated and whatever, but we thoroughly enjoyed it. I mean, Jaal, Petra, Cora, some of my favorite characters ever written in Mass Effect. And I don't usually really hang around with the humans often, but I love those characters. I mean, just the story behind them, and
Subi.
Yeah, Subi. Yeah, like I said, there's more characters there, but just, and then you even look at the siblings. I mean, the Ryder siblings. I love the Ryder siblings.
Yeah, I was happy they didn't just kill our sibling off.
I half expected, but don't kill my sibling. Don't kill you already killed my father. Don't kill my sibling.
Yeah, I'm happy that they kept the sibling in there, just because I think that there could have been more done with the whole, them, when you tell them the truth, they have that whole little meltdown.
Yeah, because we've talked about this before privately about how we would have liked a more emotional thing for the sibling that we were when we got back to the Tempest, which I will say is my favorite ship between the two of them. Yes, the Normandy had a great, brilliant gun, but the Tempest is sexy. Yeah, you have a gun, but it's big, but it's not the sleek and sexiness of the Tempest. I mean, that view.
True.
So Mass Effect is one of our favorite series. It is what Mass Effect gets #1 because of storytelling, because of characters. Witcher gets #2, Uncharted #3, Assassin's Creed #4, and BioShock #5. So those are our 5 greatest series
that we've played.
There's more out there.
From start to finish. More
from start.
We didn't do start to finish. We didn't play the first one.
Yeah, because we came in at the second one. But besides the point.
But most of every other one we played pretty much start to finish.
I have.
Yeah.
You have to catch up still.
True, I do, but where there are definitely other games out there that
we're going for individual games. I mean, the list would have been different.
Just series-wise, there are definitely other games out there from start to finish that are really good storytelling stuff that we haven't touched yet. So it's like we have to.
I mean, you look at one of the series I want to get involved in is Infamous.
Yeah.
I mean, Infamous? Not Infamous. Infamous.
Infamous.
Well, it's the same word. Besides
fuck, now I'm fucking
and then, besides the point. Then you look at games like Life is Strange, which I've always wanted to get into, especially with the second one coming out. Then you look at what's that other Naughty Dog game? Joel and Ellie, Last of Us. That's another game that I want to get into. So I mean, there's these other brilliant single-player games out there that revolve around story that I want to get into, but we just didn't want to talk about those because we haven't played them. I mean, maybe if we played those games, our list would have been completely different.
True, it's possible.
But so those are just the games that we played so far, and those are some of our 5 favorite series. I mean, obviously there'll be more to come because we'll always game.
True.
Boom. Make sure if you enjoyed the video, you headbutt the like button. Make sure you comment down below. Let us know what is your favorite 5 series. Maybe we share the same. Maybe we didn't at all. Maybe you're like, dude, what about this game? And we'll be like, we haven't played it. Because I know someone's going to go, what about the Elder Scrolls series? I know it's going to happen, and believe me, I had a hard time not putting it on the list. But that's besides the point entirely. But make sure you subscribe to our channel for more video game content. This is Nerdy Gym Bros, signing off.